So I should tell you just before we get going, I'm Marlon Weems. Everyone here should know who I am because this is the first time I've done this, but this is actually subscribers only. So it's not, hopefully, it's less subject to tomfoolery and, folks on the platform that just want to cause trouble. I'm steaming. I just don't know any other way to say it. So what I'd like to do is maybe just a little housekeeping first, and then just kind of talk for a minute, and maybe um, if I can figure out how to do it, bring some folks in and let you, sort of say your piece. First thing is for those that are free subscribers that are interested. I mean, there's no pressure, but obviously, if if you're inclined to become a paid subscriber, that helps. Um, so what I've done is, since we're going into, I guess, St. Patrick's Day weekend, which I'm a fan. There's a story I tell, and the people who live with me have heard this a million times. One of the first times when I was still in Little Rock, that I went to New York, um, I, I didn't realize St. Patrick's Day was that big of a thing, and so I scheduled a business trip for myself, and I guess it was like a commodities guy that went with me, and we went to New York on St. Patrick's Day and got all caught up in the middle of a St. Patrick's Day parade in a taxi, and it was crazy. So anyway, I kind of have an affinity for this holiday, maybe just for that reason. So anyway, all that to say, people who upgrade or become paid subscribers, it's 25% off for the year. So that's out of the way. If you're up for it, that obviously is it's very helpful, and it helps me um, be able to just kind of keep the entire project free for anybody to read. It allows me to pay for research, and I've talked about this before. So anyway, all that said, um, as you know, I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas, and when I got into the investment banking business, I should really say the securities business, because that was my vocation, was trading stocks and bonds. It was really bonds back in those days, and in the early '90s, Little Rock was the place to be. Bill Clinton was on the rise, and everybody was coming to Arkansas to see, who is this guy from Hope, Arkansas? What's he doing, etc. And if you're old enough to remember or to have been around at that time, and if you were politically aware, Democrats were trying to figure out, you know, and I'm going to tell you, this is late night, so if I drop a F bomb, forgive me, but but Democrats are trying to figure out, because there had been about a 40-year stretch where Democrats were in control of everything, and then you had Reagan and so on, and so they were trying to figure out, how do we make a comeback, and the idea was, um, if you can't beat them, join them, so to speak. And you had I guess it was the DNC, or I forget the acronym, but the point is, Democrats decided, well, we'll just kind of be like Republicans, but not as bad. And that, fast forward, that gets you the crime bill and all this stuff that now everybody's apologizing for. And so for me, my grandmother was always said she was a Republican. Uh, she was of that era where that was basically it. I don't know that she ever even was able to vote. She was born in 1898, so there's that. But the point is, I always have identified, even if not officially, as a Democrat. And I didn't particularly like the idea of, oh, let's try to be kind of like Republicans, but not as bad, and this whole centrist idea. But, it worked for Bill Clinton, and for a minute it worked. But um, as we have seen, it's not working. And we're leaving it, and this is just my opinion and my observation. We're leaving a lot of people who are looking for a home behind. And by that, I mean people who just don't vote and are just kind of not motivated. Um, Progressives. I was talking to my wife earlier, and as you can imagine, you've seen me online here. I am pissed off at what's about to happen. But, and I voted for Kamala Harris, and I liked her. I really did. I liked her policies. But at the same time, if you really, in reflection, I'm going, well, how much time did she spend with AOC versus Liz Cheney and some of these other folks? And so I just wonder if, um, I liken it to, and I know I'm rambling, but y'all, it's after 11, so just bear with me. There was a girl I used to like in high school, and I chased that girl, and she did not like me. She was never going to go out with me, and I just didn't believe it. And that's kind of what I see Democrats. They are so obsessed with the idea of we're going to get these people back who voted for Obama, or who, I don't know, they're moderates, or they have some imagined middle of the road Republican that they can pull back over to our side. And those people do not exist, I don't think. And if they do, they are very, very limited in supply. And there are not as many of those people as there are progressives that are just wanting to be noticed and taken seriously, right? And not for nothing, we got people over here on our side of the fence that they just want a reason to vote. They're not even voting because nobody's even trying to get those guys. And so, just having noticed this, it's just very frustrating, just right there. And then you see what happened, or what looks like is going to happen tonight. And man, I tell you, I actually had a live stream, and for those who missed it, I will get around to putting it out there. I just haven't had time to do it, but I had a great conversation with a guy named Garrison Hayes, who is he's like a video correspondent, I guess is the proper title or whatever, for Mother Jones. And I've used his content for months because he's just on it, right? And one of the things we were talking about this, it's like you got all these people that just want to be energized. And we're just not going to talk to those guys because we think, and by we, I mean the Democratic establishment, or whoever, those people. And at every turn, I'm trying to give guys, folks, the benefit of the doubt. Uh, and they just like disappoint. And so, DC, you're right on the money. Don't and you know what's funny about that, in my little story about the girl I was chasing? That's what my daddy told me. He said just stop chasing that girl. If she likes you, she'll come your way. And if not, it's not for you, right? So I just don't know what it takes. And I guess the reason I'm even doing this is because, um, like I said, I've been a Democrat always. And this is the first time I've said out loud, you know what? I might have to leave these guys behind because they're not listening. They're not just not listening to me. I don't know who they're listening to, but it ain't me and it ain't anybody I know. So what? So what's, and I hear people say, oh, we got to get third party, we got to do this. I, and I haven't studied it. Third parties are tough. However, we're really kind of the only developed nation that kind of does it this way, this binary choice of, either it's the evil empire or or the rebels, and so I'm not going to sit here and say I know what the answer is because I don't know, but it ain't this. We can't have a situation in my mind where we've had a guy that has just ransacked the government and we get down to this point. And I wrote something about this, I don't know, a month or so back. Republicans have got our number. They do. They know, they know exactly what we're going to do. And they just aren't even scared of us. And so what I was going to say is it's the first time ever. I'm 60, I'll be 67 next month. I have voted pretty much certainly in every national election since I could vote. I've always voted democratically, with a few exceptions. I have voted for Republicans. um, Maybe I'll cop to it later, but yeah, I have voted for Republicans. But this is the first time I have thought, you know what? Maybe I'm not really a Democrat anymore. Maybe I'm independent or something else. I don't know. Yeah, John, I know Republicans channel hate now. They weren't always that way. I'm from Arkansas, believe it or not. I'll give you an example. Um, One of the Republicans that my family supported was a guy named Winthrop Rockefeller. And as the name indicates, he was one of the Rockefeller brothers. And this isn't vodka. I wish it was, but it's not. It's just water. I wrote about this a couple of years ago, and it's to me fascinating, and it also tells you just how much the politics have changed. Um, Winthrop Rockefeller, back in the late '60s, was the governor of Arkansas, a Republican. Dude got like 80% of the black vote in Arkansas. But you have to keep in mind, Arkansas was Jim Crow in the '60s. So, there's like a historical thing going on there. Anyway, I thought I would just kind of come on here and I'm venting, and I know a lot of people are mad. I don't know what the answer is, honestly. I'm gonna sleep on it, but boy, I, I just don't. I mean, I see a lot of people saying that we should call these guys. We've been calling them, and for Schumer to pull something like this, you know, I just don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, we can call them and we can tell them and we can make them. I mean, look, we can light them up just like we've been lighting the Republicans up. But if the party that's supposed to be representing me isn't even listening, I'm just kind of like, wow, what the hell, DC, you're on the money, dude. They are worried about what are people going to think? What about this? What about that? And I say that broadly and really, and I think this may be what you mean. Um, it's this, we've got this establishment level of Democrats that will not let the AOCs or the Jasmine Crockett's or, and I can name several others that simply won't let them rise. And we've seen that from just the beginning of this conference where, AOC should be like the minority leader on a committee. She just should. Jasmine Crockett hadn't been there that long. I can see the argument for maybe why she should be where she is, and that's fine. But AOC, we don't have anybody that's more dynamic than her. And there is, I'm very disappointed in Hakeem Jeffries, um, because to me he kind of talks a really good game, but it's like it's just talk and everybody knows it, and so I don't know. Anyway, so what do y'all think? Maybe let's see who's talking to me here. So John, let's see. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can figure out how to bring somebody up here. Okay, I'm waiting on John H. Hopefully this works. Because I'm not on here trying to act like I know what the answer is. I'm just mad. And John, if you don't want to step up, it's fine. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't quite understand why Democrats are so scared. So I'm trying to bring some folks on here, and it could be that folks are like me. I mean, it is 11:30 almost, so it's kind of late. Because I really want to hear what other people have to say, because I don't know. So Reniford says we can't have one half the country in power for 4 years trying to get along and make things better, and then the other half trying to usher in. Yeah, basically tearing it all down. I mean, that's the problem. I mean, we're just going through this cycle. And what's so bad about it is who can do business with us? I mean, what other countries? I mean, we got Trump out here talking about annexing Canada. I mean, what the hell? So who has something to say here? I just want to make sure I include anybody that is interested. Robin says we need to take the money out of politics, and I really think that's, yeah. Yeah. I guess the question is how. Um, Wilkerson, come on down. Yeah, DC, definitely Citizens United messed up everything, but I mean, uh, I just don't understand the way that Democrats operate is from a position of perpetual weakness. I just don't understand that. I don't understand how, even when we're in power, it feels like we're not really. You know, it feels like, I mean, I love Barack Obama, but here's an example. So let's take Merrick Garland, and we can, in retrospect, I don't know that Merrick Garland would have been a whole hell of a lot of help if he had been on the Supreme Court. But Obama could have just made a power move and just said, you know what, I'm putting him on here and y'all take me to court. I mean, that's what Republicans would do, right? If we tried to block them putting someone on the Supreme Court, it's like we always play by these set rules, but they never do. Hey, Baz says they're neoliberals. If they, well, yeah, okay. You know what, dude? Come on in. Come on up and talk to me. Let's hear what you got to say. And it might be my connection on this little island is just so bad that folks can't even join. I don't know. And I have to be honest with you. When I walk out of my house, once I get like 5 feet away from my Wi-Fi outside the house, I barely have a signal. So it could very well be that may impede people from being able to join. But okay, I sent you an invite, Bass. So step up, man. There you go. I sent it again. Barb, I just don't know the answer about establishing a new party. Oh, here we go. Somebody's
Hello.
stepping in. Baz, is that you?
Yes, it is.
All right.
1 second.
Welcome.
It is. 1 second.
Hold on a
Yeah, I know you
second.
saw me yapping.
Okay, I'm trying to adjust my volume. Okay, so you were what were you saying now? Are you there?
Sorry. Tried to use my AirPods, but
Hmm.
that didn't work. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here. I
Yeah.
can hear you.
So yeah. Sorry, everybody. I try to keep my face covered or my identity covered just because of the nature of my day job. But yeah, you saw me yapping. I apologize. I
No,
I
it's
feel
it's
bad
not. I
for
mean,
folks.
it wasn't a criticism.
Yeah.
I just and we talk a fair amount. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, we've got a. I think personally the term neoliberal kind of gets thrown around a lot, maybe too much. I
Yeah.
don't even care. I just want people. I just want people to do what I want them to do. I
Yeah.
don't necessarily care. Uh, at the end of the day, if we can't all agree to just do everything we can to destroy these guys on the other, and I mean it figuratively, obviously, but
Mm,
to put down what they are doing. Labels don't mean anything to me. We can talk about that later when we get shit back to normal, you know and
sure.
that's kind of the way I think about it. And but we can't get guys to do that, and I don't know what in the world Chuck Schumer is thinking, because this is, from what I can read, what I've read, this is all him just saying,
Mm,
"Oh boy, it's going to be so bad if we don't do this, and if we don't, like keep the government from shutting down, it's going to be so bad for shit is bad for people now." I mean, we're we're looking at folks that are we going to get our social? I'm on Social
yeah.
Security.
Yeah.
I've paid in since I was 15 or 16.
Yeah.
So I don't. What's the bad thing he thinks is going to happen if we don't go along. And it's just, it goes back to me, it goes back to that obeying in advance
Mm.
thing, you know, where, the guy's robbing the bank and it's like that guy saying, give him what he wants, let him give him what he wants, he'll let us live. And then you get shot in the head any fucking way. So
Yeah.
so anyway, I'll let you rant for a minute. I I got
No,
to.
no. I mean, I really do feel bad for folks like yourself who are like sincere and seem like decent people, because I think that every decent person feels this way, but I just see the game being played, so to speak. I mean, who was it that said to lie down and play dead? That was Carville, right? Who mentioned that strategy? I think this is part of the strategy, in some respects, and in other respects, um, I mean, the party's lost, right? The party is most certainly in the woods, searching for
Mhm.
their soul.
The
Uh,
wilderness, yeah, for sure.
and But yeah, people aren't rising to the challenge. I mean, Gavin Newsom just had that show or that
Mm,
podcast.
man. Yeah, that's. I'll be honest with you. I was like, if I was ever gonna believe there was like such a thing as like body snatchers,
Yeah,
like aliens taking over somebody,
yeah,
because I'm like, what?
yeah,
Charlie Kirk? What? And
yeah,
then he follows that up with Steve Bannon. And
yeah.
I saw something just before I came on where so he's sitting there listening to Steve Bannon say Trump won the election. And he ain't saying shit.
No
He's
pushback.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I need some of these consulting jobs, y'all. If anybody can hook me up, please. Because this guy someone is telling him the strategy should be, if Steve Bannon says Trump won, you shouldn't say anything. And what the calculus is, yeah, you're gonna lose some
Yeah.
Democrats, but you'll get some MAGA. How do they even think that the people they're gonna get are gonna offset the wave of people like me that will never say yes to this guy ever, ever? He's
It's
dead to
just
me.
it's
It's
it's just such a
like Goodfellas, dude. He is dead to me. I'll never. You could not make me vote for this guy for anything,
you know
because you. How can you ever trust a person like that?
I mean, you can't. I mean, the funny thing. Let me say this about Gavin Newsom. The tragedy of a podcast for Gavin Newsom is that it takes away the best thing about him, which is his hair. Let's be honest. That is his strongest.
That's all he's got that going for him, and
Yeah,
but he did marry Kimberly Guilfoyle, so
that's true.
we do have to question his decision making. I'm
I
sorry,
mean,
guys. It's close. It's 11:30. The gloves are off.
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, it feels it's so tone deaf. It feels like the leaders don't uh, they're not reading the room. They are not sensing the energized Democratic base. And they're playing patty cake. And by the way, there's just as you alluded, there are ways to push back in discussion, right, against the Steve Bannon. You can say, hey, if this is your populist, economic goal, how does doing X, Y, and Z actually accomplish that? Lots of MAGA is on Medicaid.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't done the math, but I'm sorry, y'all. I'm from Arkansas. Arkansas's broke. Mississippi's broke. Alabama's broke. Louisiana is pretty much broke. Texas, not so much, but it's an enormous state with a whole bunch of poor people. I saw. I don't know if you guys remember this. About maybe 5 or 6 years ago, there was this big. I don't know. Expose isn't a word, but where the United Nations sent a team to the United States, and they went to the Deep South, right? And they're all around Mississippi, and they're looking at poverty in the United States. And you got people down there, hookworms and all this stuff that's supposed to be eradicated. And they basically said, damn, this this is like a third world country down here.
Yeah.
And everybody got mad, but that's the way it is,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
so I North Carolina is not, I wouldn't consider it a poor state, but there's probably a 500,000 to 600,000 people here that just need insurance
Yeah.
of some sort that can't get it because of the way everything is structured. In North Carolina, when I moved here from New York,
Mm.
well, I had a job in New York. My company provided insurance, all that. So when I moved here and started my, little independent consulting business, I had the ACA. My wife could be on it with me, but
Mm.
because of how North Carolina didn't really accept all of the Medicaid expansion, my kids are on Medicare, or I'm sorry, Medicaid. Right to this day, my kids are on Medicaid because they can't be on the same insurance as me.
Mm.
So I'm on Medicare because that's just once you turn 65, right? It's just
Why
you don't
wouldn't
have a
you?
choice. My
Yeah.
wife is on the ACA because we have a little business, and both of my kids are on Medicaid. So they're just, if we don't watch out, these guys are going to hit us just nine different ways, right? And so,
Yeah. I mean, I don't. So okay. So I. By the way, to go back to your earlier point about neoliberals, real quick.
mhm.
No, I get. I use that label just as a shorthand to
What do you
distinguish
think? Yeah,
those.
explain to me what you think that means.
Well,
I mean,
but
when you use that term, I don't mean it to.
no, no, I understand. When I use that word, what I mean is the sort of classical, the classical like neoliberal definition, right? And they tend to have the following characteristics, right? They tend to be more war hawkish. They tend to
Okay.
have they tend to have alliances with Wall Street.
Mm.
They tend to, and not in a good way, right? Like,
Okay, so Hillary Clinton.
right, exactly, exactly,
Okay, I
exactly.
got it.
So,
So would
so
you
it's
would
just
you have
like,
put
go ahead.
Kamala
Go ahead.
Harris in that category?
No, because I don't know what she stands for, if I'm being honest.
Mm.
Um, at least on the
You
national.
mean in terms of um, in terms of global policy and that sort of thing, or I mean, because she kind of told us what she stood for. To me, well, she had policies, and I guess what I'm asking is, are you saying? Well, you tell me what you're saying. Heck, I don't need to put words in your
Yeah,
mouth.
no, 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 no. I don't. It was like, okay, I know she had, her own sort of policy plan,
Mm-hmm.
but and she had some really great stuff on housing.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I don't know if she really leaned into that stuff um, on the campaign trail. So one of the things that I have written about, and one of the things that I remember most about her campaign was her reproduction freedom tour. She did that in the state of Michigan. The state of
Okay.
Michigan, as you know, is where a lot of auto makers used to be.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Right.
so you're touring in these like these broken towns like Flint, Michigan, and what have you, where auto workers used to have jobs, and you're talking about reproductive rights. So that's why there's a disconnect for me. So I'm not sure.
But I mean, there are women in Michigan too.
Absolutely, absolutely,
So
100%,
I mean,
hundred
but
percent.
I understand your point. But so what would you have had her talk about instead?
If it were me, man, if it were me, just affordable housing. First off, she has a good record on housing in
Yeah.
California, and she could have talked about that. She didn't lean into it. I would talk about affordable housing. I would talk about the economy. It's the economy, stupid. I'm old school when it comes to
Mm.
political campaigns. So people are suffering. The tech sector is shrinking. That's what I would talk about. I would also, Yeah, no, that's what I would focus on. So that's me. What about you? What are your thoughts on where the Democrats should go? I want to hear what you think.
I'm not sure I can say it. I'm just really and I've written a couple of things about this. I think, and I don't even feel bad saying this because I'm an old guy. Um,
No, you're not.
these old
Stop it.
guys got to get
Stop
out of the
it.
way. I
Stop
mean,
it.
I was talking earlier today, like I said, with Garrison Hayes,
Yeah.
and I think I have an advantage because I ran a I ran a trading operation on Wall Street that was very um, it was just tech. I mean, there was nothing analog about what I did for like 13 years. So I was an early adopter on Twitter. I've been on Substack 5 years. I
Oh my God.
started my Substack um, during COVID, right? And so I'm not the typical person of my age. I've got a brother. I've got a couple of brothers younger than much younger than me, and I'm always the guy they call, and I'm telling them, here's how you download that app, that kind of
Nice.
thing. Or try this app, dude. This what so I'm not the typical guy
Mm.
of my, I guess you would classify me as a maybe a late stage boomer, or if that's a category. I was born in the late 50s. Um,
Yeah, you don't look it, man.
but
I'll
but
tell you that. Jesus.
but um, well, living in a beach town does help because I just don't have a lot of the stress. But um, these are people that just you can just tell. I mean, nope. Chuck Schumer. I've never seen this guy like extemporaneously talk to me. Do you know what I'm saying? He gets up there, and it's like, okay. I mean,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and it's and look, I understand prepared speeches and all that kind of stuff, but every single thing, come on, dude, just get
Yeah.
up here, get behind the podium, and talk to us. He
I
can't do it. He won't do it. And I don't. You know,
Well, I have a
that's what
question.
we
Why do you
have.
why
We've got too much of that, and we got these people that are still just terminally convinced that
mm,
there is this middle, and it's just
mm,
not there. It's just not there. They
mm.
they want to believe that it is, but it's just not there. And I don't know. I need some of these consultant jobs, man. I'm not.
Wait, wait,
I'm
wait,
serious. I
wait.
would love to be a Democratic consultant. I don't know who all's on here, whoever's listening, if y'all can hook me up. But they are listening to the wrong people,
Yes,
and
a
they
hundred
and
percent,
and and it's to all our detriment. They're listening to the wrong
a hundred
people.
percent. Yeah,
Somebody told Kamala, you just need to get over there by Liz Cheney and it's going to be all right. And it ain't all right. It wasn't
right.
all right.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I can understand you're trying to get all the votes you can get, but AOC was right over there, dude.
So,
She
so,
was
so,
right
no,
over
no, no,
there.
no. So
And
this is
I
this is what I want.
cannot,
What
I,
I want to ask you this: Why? What is this revulsion towards youthful figures like your Rashida Tlaibs, your AOCs, these people who perform?
okay, I'm going to
The split
answer
ticket,
this.
the name of my Substack was inspired. Yeah, yeah. I just
I
want to say
will
real quick.
be,
AOC inspired the name of my Substack. People voted
um,
for Trump and then AOC, a literal split ticket.
so,
So,
okay. uh, if you think about it not as political, here's an example. I'll
mm,
make it personal. I ran a trading desk or two on Wall Street. My
mm,
clients were people like Microsoft,
mm,
Walmart. I used to run. I wasn't the only person, but
yeah,
I was like in the rotation for Microsoft's buyback. So there'd be some days, dude, I'd be 40% of all the volume in Microsoft on
Huh.
just period. Same thing, because if you're doing a buyback or a share repurchase, right? I mean, I might buy 1 million shares of Microsoft. Some days, maybe 5 million shares of Microsoft. That's me.
Hmm.
So I moved to North Carolina, right? And
Hmm.
I'm thinking big fish, small pond. In theory, it makes sense. And I start applying for jobs online because that's how it is now, right?
Yeah.
And um, Bank of America, these different, money center banks around here. And I didn't even want to be a trader. I just wanted to
Hmm.
like take my Rolodex and say, put me in, you know, client services or something. Let me go out and I'll just bring in business.
Hmm.
Dudes would not hire me because they're looking at me going, this guy'll take my job,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
That's how they look at AOC.
Aha. Okay.
That's how they that's when they see AOC, they're looking at a very attractive, and let's just say it, very attractive woman, super articulate,
Hmm.
super plugged into that um the super plugged into the cohort that they can't get,
Hmm.
and they are scared of this woman
Hmm. Yeah.
because she'll take their job.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi was not trying to help AOC no kind of damn way.
Hmm.
And it's just sad because conversely, you look at Republicans, they will take the bottom of the fucking barrel and say, "Come on up here and run this committee, Marjorie Taylor Greene."
Hmm.
Huh?
Hmm. Hmm.
And what's her name? Lauren Boebert. Come on up here and be in charge of something. Put a 20-something-year-old girl and make her the doggone press secretary. They don't care. And
Hmm.
Democrats are just running around here being stupid about this stuff. And no one will tell them that they're not listening to me. The people they're listening to know that if they tell them that, the money spigot turns off,
Hmm. There it is.
right?
There it is.
Because it,
Yeah.
it will. And I'm telling you, it's just so dumb because you can just objectively, whether you don't even believe or agree with anything AOC says, she's dynamic. She's just on it, dude.
Hmm.
And every time I see her on Instagram, I'm just sad, man, because I'm like, these
Hmm.
people are just doing everything they can to block you, lady.
Yeah.
And it's really, so to me, the strategy from my point of view is get these fucking people out of the way.
Yep. Yeah.
They got to get out of the way. And
Yeah.
I hate to say it like that. I don't dislike Chuck Schumer. I don't, it's not even personal. But at this point, if they can't get with the program, they got to go. They got to go.
Can I ask you something bold? Because uh,
Go- You're scaring me, but okay.
well, okay, because
Okay.
so I come from like a culture where people like very much revere their elders, and I'm
Yeah.
very like cautious
Well,
in
I would say before you even ask me,
yeah.
that's why these people are still there.
Okay,
Because
all right,
typically,
yeah,
especially people of color, we're not trying to like hurt no old person,
yeah.
right? And and that's, I guess, from my point of view, why I feel like I can be um so I'm one of those people. If I was 20, I would not be talking like this. If I was 40, I wouldn't be talking like this. But I feel like I've earned the right as a fellow
Absolutely,
elderly person
absolutely.
to say, y'all, come on, what are you doing? Get out of the way. Because it's hurting us. It's
Mm,
hurting us.
yeah, the hesitation, Marlon, for me is because I don't necessarily think age is directly related to competence or capacity, but I don't know what else to
Oh,
say
I
with
don't
some of.
either. I just
Yeah,
think, Baz, look, man, it's not everything I'm saying about Chuck Schumer is not
yeah,
because he's old. It's just
right,
because he's just not doing the right thing.
right,
Dude,
right.
I would love for him to be, I'd love for him to be just leading the charge as a fellow, I don't know how old he is, but whatever.
Yeah.
I would thank you, DC. Al Green, look what they did to this guy. They censured
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
And I'm like, what the
yeah,
hell, y'all? What are you doing? They're
yeah,
doing the Republicans' work for them.
yeah.
And like I said, it's like you trying to date a girl that don't even know you exist.
She
What
don't
are you
even
doing?
like you. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm with you, man. Um, I'm with you. I don't know where to go. It's real sad. It's concerning. Yeah.
So maybe I should let somebody else jump in here and
Yeah,
say their
I'm
piece.
mostly here to fill air for you. As soon as you find somebody, definitely,
So,
definitely
by
switch
the
over. I'll
way,
step
I
down.
saw you sent me a message, and I just been busy with some other
No, man.
stuff,
I
but
don't.
we'll talk.
Yeah, yeah. No worries, bro. All right. Talk to you
All
soon.
right, man. Okay, folks, it's almost midnight. Time for that moment of zen. Wait, let's see. DC, you got a lot to say, man. You need to come on up here. I say, man, I don't have any idea. Man is just a general whatever. Oh man, you know what? I'm just reading what DC is saying here about Al Green. That guy, it just broke my heart when they censored him. It just broke my heart. Um, and you think about people like John Lewis. Can you even imagine? I remember when they did like the Black Lives Matter, you know, the street thing, and there was this photo of John Lewis standing there, and it was like so dynamic. And now they dug it all up, and I'm just going, wow, it's a disappointment. And yet, I think it was Danielle Moody that said this, and yet Confederate statues all over the place. We can't take those down. But anyway, folks, you know what? I mean, it's almost midnight. I just really kind of wanted to vent a little bit. And, I'm glad a few folks jumped in here, and hopefully it kind of helps you blow off some steam too. And, like I said, this ain't vodka, but maybe I need to go find some because, oh, by the way, tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the a.m., 11 o'clock Eastern, which is my time zone, I'm going to be doing a live stream with Ahmed Baba, who, if he's getting to be kind of a regular on Stephanie Rule's show, and I guess Al Sharpton's show on Sundays. Really sharp guy. I think if I had to describe his politics or whatever, he's in, the pro democracy. That's his thing, and as we all should be. Um, and so, yeah, he and I are going to talk. And one of the things I really want to talk to him about is he was in Selma. I guess it was last weekend, and there were some black Republicans there, um, and so I think we're going to probably I won't go into it too much, but I really am interested to hear his take on some of the things that occurred down there in terms of what black Republicans were saying, and just the whole the nature. I guess it would have been, is it 50 years? I guess. No, maybe more like maybe 60 years. I don't know. But anyway, it's getting late. I'm an old person. I need to get some my beauty rest, and I will see you guys online in the morning, and for sure, live at 11. And as I said earlier, if any of you feel like you are able to support the effort, and just to kind of really put a point on it, what I'm trying to do, since Substack made the mistake of allowing me to to have live functionality, I am really um, focused on conversations with diverse voices that like today with Garrison Hayes, I was just like shocked that this guy accepted my invitation because I had been I found him on Instagram I don't know, several months ago, and I had been using a lot of the things that he was putting out in terms of content from Mother Jones and on his own. Same thing with guys like Joshua Doss, and there are several other people that I've talked to that have said they want to do something, but we just haven't been able to put get the timing together. So um, that's the kind of thing I'm doing. In addition to the writing, the writing is really hard because I just my biggest fear is being wrong. I don't like to be wrong. So I kind of get a little bit anal about just checking sources and when I think I'm right about something, especially about politics or not, I'm sorry, about economic stuff, because as things progress, to me, it's going to be a whole lot more important to be able to talk about some of these things that are occurring. What does that mean for us in terms of the economy? When we talk about, and it's stuff I haven't even really mentioned on here yet, like Bitcoin, like just the whole cryptocurrency thing. That you keep hearing them talk about that, and you probably wonder what's up with that. Um, so just so you know, I a couple of years ago, Boston Globe Media hired me to write like a deep dive on applications of um, blockchain technology in healthcare. So I kind of know that a little bit. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I've written about it pretty extensively. And when I wrap this up and put it out, I'll make sure to put some links in there. So Sarah Kenzior, yeah, she's great. I would love for her to come talk to me. I'm not even sure I'm in her league, but I'm from the school of if you don't ask, you don't get. So I'll try. Anyway, it's midnight, folks. So you know what that means. My, um, I appreciate you guys. I really do. In the last 6 months, my a lot of folks have found me. I found a lot of folks, and I just want you to know as I sign off, I really appreciate it. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Take care.